if he loses one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after what is lost. That's a powerful result, powerful response. And I've shared with you before, when we hear Jesus talk about the shepherd going after the one and leaving them in the wilderness, the shepherd didn't leave them in the wilderness unattended. He had some people that he could trust that would take care of him. That's the purpose of church. Oh, sometimes we have those that can encourage and strengthen and do the things that's needed for the 99. But we cannot act like the one does not matter. If there was one person here today, I wouldn't preach any less than I do every week. Shared with you before, years ago, it's a true story. This pastor had a church, and it was somewhat out in a country setting. And the church was just seemed to was just going down week after week after week. And every week he would get up, get dressed, and his wife was going with him for a time. And then finally got to the point, she said, "Why are you going to go to that church today? You know nobody's going to be there. Probably not going to be there." He said, "No." He got his sermon. He got his offering together. He dressed up, came to the church, waited around for Sunday school. Nobody showed up. True story. He came after that. How many of you go home after the first disappointment? You don't know what's coming after the second one. The first one might be God saying, "Let me see, do you have staying power?" What do you do in the first disappointment? Do you complain? Do you pray? Then we find out time for service. Sitting in his chair in the pulpit waiting. Nobody comes. Second disappointment. But he knew he had an assignment from God. See, here's the thing. When we say we're called to do something for God, if it's really for God, we don't choose when we do it. And it doesn't depend how many we do it in front of. So he gets up, he opens his Bible, he preaches his sermon, goes like he would if the church was packed out. Faith will reveal some blessings. When he finished, he gave the invitation. Why that man gonna give the invitation? Ain't nobody in church. What's going on? Gave the invitation. See, you got to do the things God assigned you and not try to figure out how relevant it is, because God sees what you and I don't see. So he gives the invitation, and finally he's getting ready to leave, and he heard a rumbling. This guy comes out from the back, had on prison clothes. He said, "Pastor, that sermon." He gave his life to Christ. Now, obviously, he went back to prison, but he gave his life to Christ. Suppose that recovery was forfeited because it was based on who was in the pews. This walk has to be about people, not position, not title. It's about true love. It's about friendship. It's about forgiveness, reconciliation, restoration, healing, deliverance, all of those things. But guess what? We all participate in it. So now here's Jesus putting a question to them. Many churches, want to be relevant. They have impressive brandings. You go out on social media, boy, my goodness, you see what's out there. They're broadcasting, and we out there, we do things too. But our saying is, don't advertise not. Now you know that sometimes come on, you go shopping and they say, they got 3 suits for $20. Three, so yeah. And you go in there and all of a sudden they got 3 suits, but they're like for a 6-year-old child. The old bait and switch. We got to watch as well as pray. We see that, like I said, the worship and everything, we have to bring people in. But we do not have a CRT team. What's that? A compassion response team. Compassion response team. There's a lot of work out here. After that shooting this week, a lot of work. Been on the phone with a lot of people. Talk about what we need to do to help these young people in this crisis. Our church present, the way we can, doesn't mean you have to physically be there, but we can do something. Certainly can pray. That's what the church is all about. Compassion. Responding. And the thing about the CRT,